Hey everybody, I only got a minute because my phone is dying. Unfortunately, I gotta get a new phone. But not only that, we're gonna do another live stream later on today from the home base, so everybody can join in, all my new subscribers. I don't know how to put my finger on exactly what is happening. I've been talking about an artificial intelligence, a super duper computer, a galactic computer, could be possibly deleting timelines, deleting dimensions, converging dimensions, making our world, our multiverse even smaller. Even Rex Bear, I gotta watch the interview, but I think last night he had a guest on that was talking about the world is shrinking. Good morning, Pavel. You know, there was a physicist that I spoke to a few years back through email. Maybe I'll have him on my show. His name is Frank Tipler. Now, he was talking about a different scenario where the omega point was coming. And, you know, I've been talking about dimensional waves. That there's a wave of a dimensional shift that comes over the planet at certain periods of time over the years, and I have felt it. One being during the August 2017 solar eclipse. But this morning, I just had a mind-blowing experience that is really shaking me to the core right now. I'm not sure whether it was my great-grandmother that appeared or not. But I was just driving down the street, and I was in a bad mood. I was frustrated, you know, with something that was happening, and I was like really upset for a moment, right? And I just went for just go clear my head for a minute, right? I had to go pick up some stuff from the store anyway, so I just went to drive to clear my head, right? So I turned off my phone, turned off the music in the car, turned off everything. I just wanted some silence for. So I'm driving down the street, and about a quarter of a mile away from where I live, I'm focused on the road, looking out the, you know, the windshield, just focused on the road, not really looking what's to the left or what's to the right on the side of the road. But for some reason, something made me like, just like, almost like I don't know, like it was like, you know, a magnet almost, like my head just was drawn like to look to the right, like a magnet. It was like I was magnetized to look out the side window as I'm driving. And I almost got into an accident because I slammed on my brakes and because of what I saw. So I look to the right and I see an old, like, grandmother lady, but very, very old looking. And she was wearing this long dress that had a specific pattern I could draw. But the dress looked like it was fucking from the 1800s. Like really, really old. And she didn't look like a ghost or anything like that. She didn't, I mean, I've seen spirits or whatever you want to call them, imprints of the past or imprints of another timeline, whatever you want to go, however you want to go down that route, however you want to describe it. I've seen some that looked just as real as you and me, even more real than you and me. And I've seen some that looked like a holographic window, see-through, almost in dull pastel colors, dull neon. I've seen things that look like that as well. But this was just as real as you and me, just as real looking and tangible. Looked like a real person, very old grandmother. She had a handkerchief type thing in her hair, a white lady. Looked like an old Italian lady. Looked like my great-grandmother, my Nana. You know, I called my grandmother Nani, and my great-grandmother we called Nana. And it looked just like my Nana, who she died right around the time of my near-death experience. She died 1987, 1988, right around there. And she, the weird thing about what I just saw was that she was looking, hold on. I lost power, did I? She was looking down at the street, like she was on the side of the road, looking down on at the street, like looking down at the road, almost like she wasn't aware of anything else going around her. When I looked, I was like, oh my God, is she lost? Is she sick? Does she have dementia? I didn't even think about my grandmother at first. I just saw an old lady that looked like she had dementia and that she was going to cross the road and get hit, right? So I jammed on my brakes and pulled alongside of the road. I opened my car door to get out, and I had to close my car door again because another car was coming. So there was like a couple of seconds where my eyes weren't on her. I had pulled over, went to get out of the car, and then I had to close my car door again because there was a van going by. So then I reopened my car door, got out, went to look around to go walk towards her, and she wasn't there anymore. And there's nowhere she could have went. Nowhere she could have went at all. And I went and walked right on the spot where she was, and I felt the smell. She disappeared. I mean, and I got back in the car, not being able to explain where this lady just went. And then I thought of my nana. I was like, oh my God, she did look very similar to my nana. I don't have any pictures of my nana right now. All I do have is her mass card of when she died. I think she died November 9th, 1987 or 1988. She died right after my near-death experience, I know. Because the last time I saw her, she even pinched my cheek and said, "You're of the Fata. I'm of the faith. I'm of the blood." She knew that something was awakening in me. The smell was almost like when somebody has been cooking Italian food and then you leave the home and you could still smell the food in your clothes. Something like that. It was like almost like, was somebody cooking, or it almost smelled like gravy or sauce, whatever you choose to call it. It almost smelled like that. It almost smelled like somebody was cooking, but somebody walked into the house and got it on their clothes. Something like that. And I was like, oh my God. Like, this is like intense. And I've had other experiences like that where I've smelt my grandmother's perfume literally saturate me. And after the experience, I could smell it in my hair. I could smell it in my clothes. I could smell it in me. It's something like that. And what's very interesting about my great-grandmother, her dying in 1987 is very special as well. But her name was Santa Bianco. Now, that's her maiden name. Santa Bianco means Saint White. Literally, her name, I have mystical and very spiritual lineages on both sides of my family, as far back as you can find. And my great-grandmother's name was literally Santa Bianco, which means Saint White. She married my pop. My poppy's name is Vincenzo Mauro, or Vincenzo di Mauro. When they came to New York from Italy, they cut off the D part and just put Mauro, which is M-A-U-R-O. But it was Vincenzo di Mauro. So my great-grandmother's name, which was Saint White in English, she married Vincent Dark. Mauro means the Moors or means dark. Mauro means dark or the Moors. The name means the same thing. So Moors, or the Moors, were a North African tribe. And they were very dark-skinned. So Moor, or Moro, or Di Moro means of the Moors or the Moors. Or it could just mean dark, right? So what's very interesting is my grandmother, Saint White, married Vincent Dark. So it's like the light and dark converging. And my great-grandmother's name became Santa Moro, Saint Dark. So it's very, very interesting. And I don't know for sure if it was an imprint of her that appeared, or what it was, or if it was some other thing. But from another time and place that I just saw. And, I've been seeing things like this most of my life, as far back as I can remember. There was times where my mother was driving me to school in the morning, and I almost made her crash the car because I thought there were people in the road. and that she was going to crash into them, and I made her swerve off the road and there was nothing there, and she'd be like, "What the fuck is the matter with you? Don't you ever grab the steering wheel again?" You know, and I thought she was going to plow into a bunch of people, but there was no one there. And faces would appear to me out of the dark while I was a kid. You know, and, you know, for those that comment in the comment section, the small few that want to put negative comments, my name is not Ra, but it's my initials. My name is Raffaele Antonio Castaldo, Ralph Anthony Castaldo. So my initials are RAC, but RA. So Ra kind of stuck from my initials. It's not the worship of the sun god Ra, and I've been fascinated with ancient Egypt my whole life. The imagery, the research, you know, I feel like I lived there as a priest or something like that, possibly even Atlantis. So I've always been fascinated with the imagery and everything with ancient Egypt. Christianity, Roman Catholicism, they continued that religion. That, but it is a continuation of the